Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to talk about the Barbar army campaign and the amazing job that political Muslims have done in spearheading this campaign and getting over 100,000 Muslims to sign up. Phenomenal job. Now, MPAC has been doing campaigns for over 10 years, so we've got a wealth of experience on how to do campaigning effectively. So I'm going to give you some tips for those brothers who were actually involved in that campaign, and to those Muslims who are just learning how to start to do something practically and effectively for the Muslims and the campaigns in the future. Step 1. Are we applying pressure in the right place, and will it deliver the results that we need? In this particular campaign, with the Barbar Army campaign, the pressure was applied to Parliament via this e-petition. Now, that's exactly where we need to be applying pressure, because obviously they are the people who make the decisions. So let's look at this particular campaign. 100,000 people were mobilised to sign this. An amazing achievement, and the political Muslims who spent time, effort, energy and real sacrifice in mobilising the rest of us, lazy Muslims, deserve a pat on the back. Anyone who forwarded a text, anyone who forwarded an email, anyone who made a video or put something on their Facebook, any ISOC or mosque, the few that actually did anything, need congratulations for that. But yet, a campaign to actually deliver success has stages and needs far more than the initial amount of action that is taken. Now, in this particular case, you need an MP to debate it in Parliament, and that means they have to select this petition. Otherwise, even though you've got 100,000 people to request an MP to debate it, they simply don't have to. So step 2, apply pressure directly. The e-petition was indirect pressure. Direct pressure takes it to the next step. It says, you visiting your MP with other Muslims and saying, we want you to take this petition forward and we want you to fight the cause of Barbar Ahmad in Parliament. That type of pressure is far more powerful, and it's the second step in pushing Barbar Ahmad's campaign forward. Now, we need lots of Muslims to do that right around the country, and believe me, MPs will listen. There is over 100 MPs who rely on the Muslim vote in this country. That's 100 people who could be fighting for Barbar Ahmad in Parliament if only we knew what steps to take, and that's simply applying this pressure, going to them and demanding it. Will it happen? Probably not. Why? Because the Muslims are politically immature. They have not been educated by the institutions that teach us Islam, whether that be the mosque, whether that be ISOCs, whether that be scholars and circles, how to campaign to defend their own rights. To them, to these institutions, to these scholars and these ISOCs, that's simply not important, not part of Islam. And that's the fundamental problem. To them, Islam is an unprioritized religion. Their priority is minor issues, the length of the trousers above your ankles, should a woman wear nail varnish. All of these things debated and taught within these institutions, but never the major issues where Muslims are being locked up without trial, their families are suffering, their lives are destroyed, demonized, people are killed, mosques are burned down. All of these issues that are affecting Muslims in this country and right around the world are never talked about or campaigned by these institutions. So the Muslims simply don't know what to do, because the institutions that teach them Islam do not teach them a prioritized version of Islam. The highest priority in Islam, after Iman, is the defense of Islam and the oppressed. The highest priority. And yet most Muslims this is probably the first time they've ever heard of that. And that is from scholar after scholar, from hadith after hadith, can back what I've just set up. So the obvious conclusion there is this, that the mosques that are worth millions of pounds and have multi-millions of pounds in their bank accounts need to start to become centres where the Muslims can rely on, that not only do they educate us how to be politically mature, but they spearhead and organise these campaigns legally within Britain. And until these centres become the hub of our community, ready and willing to defend our community will always be passive, slave-like, ignorant, underconfident. And brothers like Barbar Ahmad will never have the defence of an educated, politically mature community and the institutions to defend him and his family. He will always be at the mercy of powers far more powerful than him, with the hope that some small band of brothers who are really dedicated, really care, but underfunded, undermanned, will somehow try to swing a miracle campaign that will help him. And it's simply unfair on brothers like Barbar Ahmad that most of us do so little for this, and most of our mosques do hardly anything, and most of our ISOCs throughout the year hardly do anything. One campaign to ask someone to do a petition is not enough to help Barbar Ahmad. It's the first step, not the last step, and not the only step. So, on that note, I say to you, Muslim brothers, if there's anything you want to discuss with me or any of the Impact team about this campaign or any campaign to defend the Muslims, come and meet us. We've got branches in Manchester, we've got branches in Birmingham, we've got branches in London, and come for a coffee. Let's talk, let's debate about these issues, and let's discuss what is the best way forward. I really thank you for your time. I'm sorry I rambled on, but I thought this was so important. So many great Muslims took up this campaign, so many politically minded, so many Muslims became politically minded in this campaign. I thought it was something that they really needed to know and really needed to address. Assalamu alaikum.